You'll often hear people say that fall is the best time of year to go backpacking. The leaves are changing, there's no bugs, there's less crowds, but those people who are saying that, they're prepared. They have the right gear. Fall is a different beast compared to summer, and you have to have the right gear in order to be safe, warm, and comfortable out on your trips. This first item is important if you want to be having hot meals or coffee in the morning, and that's a stove with a built-in regulator. The pressure inside of a canister at 70 degrees Fahrenheit is 45 psi, but as the temperatures outside drop, the temperature of the canister is going to drop, and that's going to lower the pressure and psi of the canister. If you don't have a regulated stove, as the pressure inside the canister drops, the output of the stove is going to drop as well. With a non-regulated stove, that means it's going to be taking you longer in order to heat up water or boil water. With a good regulated stove like the Soda Windmaster or Pocket Rocket Deluxe, they're designed to operate at those lower pressures, anywhere between 15 to 20 psi. So as temperature inside the canister drops, you're not going to see a decrease in output with these stoves. Eventually, if temperatures get really cold, the pressure inside of the canister is going to drop below that 15 to 20 psi, and you're going to have to start using an inverted stove, but you're probably not going to see those kind of temperatures in the fall. I've used the Pocket Rocket Deluxe down to minus 20 degrees Celsius, and I was able to boil water very quickly at those temperatures. Normally, I don't drink coffee or anything out on backpacking trips. Weird, I know. That is until fall hits. Then I'm all about hot morning coffees and hot evening apple ciders. But cold air can suck the heat out of your hot drink, and for that reason I like a double-walled mug in order to hold my coffee or hot apple cider. This one's made with titanium, so it's very lightweight, has folding handles, and is just a very good size all around. If you bring a chair on backpacking trips, then this next item might surprise you, and that's bringing a sit pad. A sit pad is going to be essential to keep your butt warm when you're sitting in your chair. Cold air is going to be blowing in underneath the chair, and you're going to be getting a really cold butt. So if you bring a sit pad, you can place that on the bottom there, have a seat, and then keep your butt warm while you're sitting down in fall temperatures. It's something a lot of people don't think about, but you'll be surprised at how much warmer you are sitting in a chair with a sit pad. It's something that hammock campers are really familiar with. They know that a thin piece of fabric between you and the cold air is not going to keep you warm. It's hard to keep your extremities warm when out backpacking, especially your poor little feet. My feet generally run warm, but when they do get cold, they get very cold, and it starts to get uncomfortable and I have trouble sleeping. For that reason, during fall backpacking trips, I bring the Enlighten Equipment Torrid Apex booties. These are super warm and work better than down because even when my feet are cold, they still sweat a little bit, and the synthetic insulation that the Torrid Apex booties are made with keeps their loft in warmth even when they're a little bit damp. And even though they're made with synthetic insulation, they still compact down really small and are very lightweight. These booties are carried by Garage Grown Gear, the sponsor of today's video, and my go-to store for backpacking gear. Garage Grown Gear is all about helping support innovative cottage brands while also carrying all the staples for backpacking, like the warmest sleeping pad out there, the Thermarest X-Therm. They have free shipping on orders over $20, free returns for anyone in the US, and the best customer service out there. Little pro tip, their newsletter is non-spammy, provides great information, and gives you a heads up on upcoming sales and restocks. And signing up gives you 10% off your first order from Garage Grown Gear. Go check them out at the link in the video description. A lot of people will carry a buff year-round, but for me, I find that they only start being useful when the temperatures get really cold. And there's two purposes that I use a buff for. Number one, I wear it around my neck when sleeping and then pull it up over my nose in order to keep my nose warm. My nose has had frostbite a few times and gets crazy cold even if the temperatures drop just a little bit. A buff will also help with condensation if you have it up over your mouth. As you breathe, it's going to capture that moisture and create a condensation barrier. I haven't looked into the science behind this, but I have a lot of anecdotal evidence from a lot of backpacking and camping during fall and winter. In the same vein as having cold feet when sleeping, having an insulated pair of booties or slippers is really nice for around camp. Especially if your feet are wet or damp, having a pair of slippers to change into is going to make your feet a lot warmer in the long run. And by preventing cold feet, especially before bed, you're going to use a lot less energy in order to try to warm them up before getting into your sleeping bag. Here in the Canadian wilderness, during the fall, it starts getting dark at 7 p.m. or earlier. And even though I'm usually in bed at 9 p.m., even when I'm at home, having a good illumination is important for those early sunsets. In order to help you with your lighting needs, I have two items here. First of all, we have the FlexTail Tiny Pump X2. This is a little pump that's going to help you inflate your sleeping pad, which is good during the fall months because you don't want to be introducing warm air and moisture inside your sleeping pad. As it gets cold over the night, it's just going to keep deflating. But then it also has a light on it, which is really nice for hanging up in your tent to act as a lantern or to put on a picnic table in order to play games with your friends in the evenings. The other item is the Nitecore NU25 headlamp. This is by far the best headlamp that I've ever used. It's very bright, USB rechargeable, and has red light as well. I find both items really useful to have. The headlamp gives you good hands-free lighting, whereas the lantern gives you a nice broad light. If you're interested in hot tenting, go check out this video right up here. I go over all the gear that I bring on my hot tenting trips. There's quite a bit of extra gear and there's some intricacies with it that are really important to know. But if you are going fall backpacking or camping, taking a hot tent with you really ups the comfort level.